Welcome to the PrimeSpan Podcast, where we talk about aging, mental health, and living well in the years that matters the most. Each week, we cut through the noise to focus on what actually helps you feel clearer, steadier, and more in control as you age. If you're navigating the second half of life or thinking ahead, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
What if aging didn't mean slowing down? What if the years after 60 could be your most vital, purposeful, and connected years yet? Welcome to the very first episode of the PrimeSpan Podcast. I'm Adam, your host and navigator on this journey. And this show is where science meets lifestyle, so you can live better and longer. And here's the truth. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement to redefine aging for our generations and the next. Now, I want to make sure I introduce my co-podcasters in this episode, my co-founders. And so I want to ask, I'd like to introduce each one of them. I would like to call Jessica first and have herself introduce herself.
Such a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Adam. I'm Jessica Kochu, and I am the lead of member experience at PrimeSpan. I'm so happy to be here. Something that really makes me grateful to be a part of this team, to be a part of our mission. Our mission is to help seniors thrive, to help seniors go from I'm in my 60s, I'm in my 70s, and I'm just getting by. My best years were my 30s and 40s. Oh gosh, I wish I could go back to my 30s and 40s. Our mission is to make it that the 60s, the 70s, the 80s are so fabulous that there is no yearning for the good old days, because the great days are what is being experienced right now as I'm becoming a senior, and I'm embracing this era with PrimeSpan and embracing an era of vitality and growth and lifelong learning and connection. So that's what all of us are hoping to do with PrimeSpan, and it's certainly, Adam, what means probably the most to me is what I hope we will be able to give people as they are approaching and embracing their senior years.
I love that, Jess, and thank you for being here. Allyson, let's have you introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Allyson Fujii. On the PrimeSpan team, my role is community engagement and our Healthspan challenges. I'm also grateful to be here with this team. Something that I've always looked forward to is having a community of support. And I think that's one of our goals, is to provide people the resources and have people who are on the same journey, trying to reach the same goals. It's hard to do it when you're alone, and it's not as fun and not as exciting. So having a community of support is something that I'm really passionate about, bringing the community together.
I love that, and you know, you're I think anybody that walks into the PrimeSpan community would really get to know Allyson a lot better, because she's the one that you're going to be interacting with a lot. She shepherds the whole community on a constant basis. So thank you, Allyson. I'd like to call Shannon next. Shannon.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Akakian. I am the Programs and Wellness Integration Lead. I am so honored to be part of this movement that Adam said. I also agree with my co-founders that aging should be something that's done beautifully. We should enjoy the 60s, 70s, 80s, and may I add, Jess, the 90s. To be just,
Yes, you may.
yes, just as youthful, pain-free, stress-free as it was in our 20s, 30s, and 40s, etc. I am really happy to do this journey, this new journey with all of you. And the most important aspect of PrimeSpan is community. It's to bring everybody together, like Allyson said, merging everyone with the same mindset and then motivating one another to lead a longevity, healthful life with the tools that we all need, the motivation that we all need, the support that we all need in our day to day. So I'm very excited and welcome to PrimeSpan.
Thank you, Shannon. Well
Right.
said. Well said. Well said. Last but not the least, Cassandra.
Well, I don't really know what's left to say. My team here has really hit the mark with talking about what we're all about here at PrimeSpan. I'm Kassandra Aragon, and I am the lead for our curriculum development and Healthspan strategy. I really love being in this department, or taking the lead on this, because oftentimes throughout my own health journey, when looking up articles, looking at journals, scrolling, whatever it may be, there's often a lot of information that's shared with us, but it's a very general. And I like to dig in and really understand the process. Why is it? Why do these foods cause inflammation? Like, what's happening on the inside? And as I see my own family, aunts, parents, uncles aging, I'm constantly feeding them information on, how to improve their lives or set themselves up to be successful later in life. I constantly joke around and tell them, I don't want to be pushing you around in a wheelchair. I want you to get up and move. So I'm really excited to be part of PrimeSpan. And as my co-founders have said, it's really motivating to have a community to fall back on and to connect with, and really share our experiences. And we do have a very warm community that Allyson has cultivated within our PrimeSpan app.
Thank you, Cassandra. Part of this first episode, very important for our listeners, is for them to understand the PrimeSpan story. How it all began, why did we put PrimeSpan together? Why did it resonated to all of us? And I think it's quite important for all of the listeners for them to understand some backgrounds of that. Why, probably from all of us from a personal level. But just from my perspective, I do want to share why we started PrimeSpan here, just for everyone's knowledge, for just a general knowledge to anybody who would listen, for our members, or for anybody who might listen to this podcast down the line. Being in the senior living industry, for the past 2 decades, we've always been in the receiving end of how a person that aged, whether they took care of themselves well or they didn't take care of themselves, we see them at the end of their years in the senior living industry. And that's where it came from, as you all know. And for the past 2 decades, I keep on reflecting, if there's something that if those people, especially because you see a lot of them, there's very few that thrives. Like you can tell there's a good amount of people there that walks in those walls that actually feels good. We try to make them feel good, but there's very few of them that they could say, I feel good walking in, that I don't have a lot of problem walking in. And part of me always thought about maybe if they had the ability to change some things on the earlier years of their life, they would be in a better state. That they will have a different, they would be physically better, mentally better, emotionally better. Community will be a little bit different. And I would always reflect back on how those people, as they progress in their years inside those homes, and they're beautiful homes, they're beautiful communities. But it still breaks me to see how things that you could do at your 50s, 55, 60s, modifiable things, if you don't address it at that stage, it affects you at your 80s and 90s. And it really affects you drastically. Your diet, your exercise, your sleep. I mean, I'm talking about here as I'm thinking about sleep. I mean, you all know probably my sleep is the worst, one of my enemy, you know? But so that's been one of the reason why we put PrimeSpan together, is to really help the aging population to make a dent in this whole aging population, to give them the right direction, the right information, the right community, and also to help to gain access to proper support system. And why we built PrimeSpan. And so that's something that I would love everybody to know. It's been it's a mission driven. It's deeply ingrained to embedded to what we want to do, or I want to do as a person, to serve the community. But I would like to ask each one of you, what resonated to you? Why PrimeSpan? What resonated with you when it comes to the mission? I'm curious. Anyone?
I'll start, Adam, because you struck something in me. Because I too have worked in senior living, not as long as you, and not as long as a lot of people on the team here, but you think about the people that are not doing well, and there's so many intangibles or things that are not in one's control, but there are things that are in our control. And so what if somebody had tapped this person that's struggling with mobility, that's struggling with memory, which is just so heartbreaking to see, that's struggling with health due to an imbalanced diet. What if somebody had tapped that person on the shoulder 30 years earlier and said, if you do X, Y, and Z, if you eat well and focus on your omega-3s and focus on your protein and cut out like having that daily dessert, you may not experience X in 30 years. And what if you, instead of resisting exercise, because it can be so difficult to start an exercise program, but if somebody told you that in 30 years you may be in a wheelchair, and so I could go on and on. But the fact is, what drew me to the mission is, what can we help people control? What can we help people change of potential outcome, especially negative outcome, and change it to a positive outcome? And giving, as Kassandra mentioned, you can go on Google or you can chit chat with AI, but it's going to be so generalized and there's so much information And what we've done at PrimeSpan is we've studied all this research, and we want to give you all those 3 pointers that could completely change around the whole perspective that you may have on aging, and how it can go from a really difficult experience to something that is as I think it was Shannon who said, really beautiful. And so that's what drew me to the mission, is how can we help people course correct to have a
Mm-hmm.
way different outcome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful way of resonating to it, Jessica.
For myself, when you were talking to me about this idea, highlighting the missed opportunity for people in their 50s, that really resonated with me, because I think that had my dad been a little bit more serious about his health and made the changes that he needed to do, and although he started, it wasn't the whole wellness philosophy or lifestyle philosophy. It was just, one piece of it. But we've learned that everything is so interconnected: your nutrition, your physical activity, your stress, your sleep. And his, he had some challenges with nutrition and sleep and stress. And if I look back at it, that's basically 10 years from now, I would be my dad's age at the time that he passed away. So for myself, that's really my mission that drives me, to want to make sure that we're bringing the knowledge and information to people, the science based knowledge to people, and translating it in a way that it resonates with them, that they're able to understand, and then also breaking it down into smaller steps, because I think oftentimes we want to jump in and go full force, but for it to be a lasting change that will help aid your longevity and wellness for the future, it has to be broken down piece by piece, so that way it is sustainable. And as much as we want the process to hurry up and we want to get to that finish line, it's not going to work, and we really need to slow down. And again, just having this network, this community here to help support that, it excites me, and that's what drives me to be part of PrimeSpan.
Mm-hmm. It's well, you have a very deep relation to well, resonates because of your family experience, Cassandra. That is it's deeply rooted as a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But Jess and Cass, you mentioned about the information is out there, right? There's so much information out there, and this is this is a this is probably one of the problems in today's world. There's too much information overload, and I'm curious what Shannon has to say about this, because being there's too much information overload out there, and what we're trying to do is simplifying the information, and Shannon, that's one of the things you're bringing into the group here, simplifying a lot of the information together with Cass. But I'm curious how it resonates PrimeSpan, but also how do we simplify that?
Yeah, I think, Jess and Cass, and soon Allie will say that there is so much out there. And I've always been an individual, and in my life, in my personal life, like, let's keep things simple. What are the simple basics of what we need to do in any part of life, right? Your goal, what are the steps? Let's not curve this way or curve that way, which sometimes is a good thing and sometimes is not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with fundamentals of longevity, let's keep to the basics. And that's what drew me to PrimeSpan, our 5 pillars, the 5 basic needs of individuals that they need to accomplish in order to have longevity. Stress is something that is in my genetics, I think. But I'm working on it a lot through different avenues like breath work and grounding and being outside. And it's what we implement also as a team and a community. And it's important to really think about, what did our cavemen ancestors do?
Mm.
What did they do when they didn't have all of this around us and all of these things and gadgets and all of that? And they lived pretty good, healthy, sustainable lives. And now I feel like the world is trying to go back to what did the caveman did, carnivore diet and all of these different things that are now becoming hip and in, but it's what was, the only thing that they could do as our ancestors would do. Not that I'm implementing any certain type of diets, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying,
Except the PrimeSpan diet, Shannon.
that's
Don't
it.
forget the PrimeSpan diet.
That's it. That's it. The only
Should
diet.
be published, the cookbook.
The cookbook, it should be published. We will trademark that. A lot of trademarking and soon to be purchased in a store near you.
We're doing merch. Shannon is part of the merch.
This is going to
She's-
definitely be cut out of the.
No, you're our merch queen, Shannon.
There you go.
Well, back to the fundamentals, as I was saying, is
This
what
is what
drew
we
me.
call the community, by the way. This is part of the PrimeSpan community.
That this is not going.
This is part of the PrimeSpan community.
Yes. As you can see, we are very much involved in all aspects of our lives. And you yourself, by joining PrimeSpan, can choose how much you would like to share. Yet, we go back to the fundamentals. What do we need to accomplish in the 5 pillars, which is what drew me to PrimeSpan, to live a youthful life in the future? And I can't wait to be 126 years old.
I think you can definitely get to that 126 years old, and most likely all of us will be together at that.
Just like this.
Correct. Well,
Allie, you tell me what you think of my thoughts.
Wow, 126. We've got a long way to go.
We do. We do. Jess cut us off at 80. I extended it to 90. Now I'm in the hundreds.
Hey, people are living way longer now, so we just never know. It could be us. I was thinking about our community and all of us as a community as well. And I was reflecting on why PrimeSpan and why we're here. And reflection is actually a huge part of our program at PrimeSpan, and
Mhm.
being a part of this has helped me reflect on my own health and the health of my family. Witnessing my loved ones age, and my family is in Hawaii. We're born and raised there, and people think of Hawaii as this vacation destination, and it's true. And there's great food and large portions there, lots of rice, and that is actually what causes people to have a lot of health issues. And so I've kind of witnessed my loved ones age and have not great diets, not really taking care of themselves, although probably their stress level is way down, being in a tropical place that's relaxing. But watching them age, not reaching their fullest potential, really kind of inspired me to be part of something that could motivate and uplift them. I've always wanted a job where I could help people, and that was not really clear and until more recently. In the last 6 years, I've had more experience and had more meaning about what it is to live longer and how we're doing that. So I just wanted to be able to help my own loved ones have resources and help them realize the time is now and it's never too late to get started.
Mhm.
Many of my loved ones say, I don't have time or I'm too busy. And so as I was thinking about reflection, I'm thinking, well, you don't have time for yourself. You don't have time to give to yourself. And it's true, a lot of people are busy. They're taking care of their kids, their own parents, or other people in their life, and also still having the career. But you have to make time for yourself. And why wouldn't you want to live longer and better? Is the question.
Mhm. 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 You know, Ali, you got me thinking about something, because in at what we at PrimeSpan, and this is probably important that we share this. Part of our part of our mission is the reason why um, we make it digestible at our platform, at what we do at our app, and everything that we try to share. You know, when the courses is the practical application, right? And I'm curious. This is where we're all going to be. I'm going to ask all of us here to share um, from a from all of. I'd like to ask all of you from um, what do you find the most uh, when it comes to the lifestyle? What do you think is the most difficult? We've seen a lot of our members that's joined us for the past uh, month. What do you think is the most I'd like to ask everyone here of you, what do you think is the most difficult lifestyle change each uh, that we're seeing people have to do, or the common lifestyle changes that they need to do to have a better life, like that common things that you're all seeing. um Ali, you're probably the most um exposed to it, but I'd like to hear the rest of the team too.
I think the most difficult lifestyle change is nutrition and diet,
Mm-hmm.
because food is something we need to survive, and we're gonna want to go to what tastes good and looks good. But it's kind of a shift of your thinking of what is going to feed my body and my brain. We often forget what foods are are better for our brain health, which then affect the rest of us. I also think that movement and exercise is also challenging, but I think diet for me would be number one. Just getting to the gym is a hard step, but food is always kind of accessible there. I'm a snacker, so if there's snacks, I'm gonna eat them, and so I try not to buy them, but I gotta indulge a little bit once in a while.
Yeah, Shannon.
I would have to agree with Ali on those two. I think meal prepping is one of the hardest things for me, to see how much protein I need to get and reach those goals by the end of the day. Um, I think for me, implementing movement early on in the day wouldn't give me an excuse later. But, we're human. We have some not so successful weeks like this one for me. But you just have to keep motivating yourself. Like Ali said, try to stay away from the bad snacks, try to get the healthier ones. But, we all like to indulge a little bit, but it's in moderation and not every single day. We are human. And food is what brings a lot of people together, a lot of cultures, a lot of communities, a lot of friends and family and everything. So it's important to have the right mindset and not restrict
Mm-hmm.
oneself, because it is such a common thing to for people to come together around food and to have a good relationship with it, um and in moderation, I think.
Mm. Yeah, uh, that's true, because y- I mean, the food in itself brings joy to you, and if
Exactly.
it has a lot of positive things, and to your point, I mean, part of, and we always say the social connection is also an important aspect of what we promote.
Mm-hmm.
But can you make that menu healthier? Probably, you know.
You can. You can switch to the good oils instead of the seeds. You know, there's so many different ways that you can switch over what you love and make it healthier.
Yeah.
And then portion control it,
Correct.
which is very hard.
Definitely. Cass, you were gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you. I really think that it stems from, I think I would probably pick nutrition over movement, but there's another aspect I want to bring in after I share this. I think with nutrition, like, it affects so much of us, not just weight, but also it affects how you sleep. It affects how your body handles stress. It affects how you move. It also affects your mood overall. And some people lean on food to maybe soothe, and others lean on food just to give them the energy that they need. So I think that nutrition is a huge piece at the center of a lot of the health issues that come up throughout life. But I also think that it's, when it comes down to it, it's like taking that first step, that habit change, that routine for any of these lifestyle factors. It's really taking that step and being consistent and being disciplined and finding that why within you that's going to keep you motivated to keep moving forward. So I'm on board with that cookbook, though, Shannon. I think that we have something there. I think that would be really neat to be able to produce.
It'll be fun, I think.
It will, because I think also too we're
But
constantly
I don't
sharing.
enjoy cooking, so this is going to be hard to make a cookbook of something that I don't enjoy.
You can be the official taste tester.
That I'm good at.
And give us your feedback, and then we can put what you quoted after you've tasted each one of these meals. We can put a nice quote at the end of the recipe for our PrimeSpan community.
I mean, that's a good role. I will fill that role beyond perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, just in case, for those of you who are listening, we're selling cookbooks and journals. Just in case if you don't know, now you know.
We might even feature some of our PrimeSpan community members' recipes in this cookbook too. There's an opportunity there.
Correct. We invite you to submit your recipes. For those of you who are listening, we will gladly take it. Okay, so here's a question I would like to ask you, and each one of us, when we started PrimeSpan, because most likely our members are, some of our members, and this is, I noticed this, some of them, when they're walking in and joining us, there's confidence issue, because they feel that they cannot start something and they haven't started a plan for the longest time. And really, what the problem in today's wellness industry, and again, this is not a negative connotation in anything, but when you reach a certain age, people are you don't feel comfortable to start a new program. So what happens is that the confidence goes down, and they don't know where to start, and they think that you have to be perfect. And for us, we're also imperfect in when it comes to the PrimeSpan pillars. I mean, we're talking about sleep, nutrition, movement, psychological health, community. I mean, I want to be honest, I am not perfect in all of this myself. I've disclosed already that one of my worst enemies is sleep, and that's probably because of just schedules and life and all of these things. When you live a busy life, you think you could conquer it all, and you don't sleep, and that's the problem. And it's not a life that's not a PrimeSpan life. So I keep on trying to remind myself, shut it off, shut it off, shut it off. So I'm curious for the rest of the team here, what is a PrimeSpan pillar that that you're working on, that I'm sure the listeners are curious. What is something that they can relate with, because that's probably important to our listeners.
I think, as I said earlier, but whoever's tuning in now, it's stress. And, it's hard. Life changes all the time. And it's important to, get in a routine of what will help me when I am in a stressful mood or day or week. So I'm finding my outlets, which is funny enough, another pillar: movement and societal connection of those that I can lean on and talk to. After I've pretty much had my movement, whatever that looks like for me, it's either walking outside or going to Pilates. So, it's important to identify that you are feeling what you are feeling, which is step one. And then step two is finding different routines that'll help you depending on what that stressor may be. So that's what I'm doing.
Very good.
Thank you.
I'm trying my PrimeSpan pillar I'm trying to work on is also movement. I have a gym membership, and sometimes I don't use it. So I pay for something that I'm not using, and it's if I have to schedule it. If I don't schedule it, then I won't go. And also that if I don't go, then there's a penalty. You have to pay an extra fee for missing or being late to a class. So more motivation to keep on working at it. But I have to schedule, or else I'll just not go.
This is a smart way. This is a smart way of penalizing you to go to your classes. You have to,
Yeah.
you get a penalized.
And it's not cheap.
You.
It's like I pay for my membership, right? And then it's $30 for a missed class, or you can't if you cancel it in less than 24 hours or something. So there's been times that I've gone and I'm really not feeling well, but after I feel better.
Positive reinforcement.
My turn. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have to say movement too, but I think nutrition goes along with that for me. It's been very challenging over the last several months to be very disciplined with movement and consistent. And while I have this goal hanging over my head from last year, of now running in my second marathon in early 2026, my goal is now to decrease my time. However, over the month of August, I've kept on delaying when I'm actually going to start my heavy training because life. But I don't want to end up forcing myself to jumpstart my training as quickly as I did last year, because I do want to have a faster time, and of course all the benefits you get from working out and moving and all of that, but also because I want to decrease my time significantly, nutrition is going to play a big role in that as well, and how I'm fueling myself and my protein and recovery. So it can be a daunting task at times when you're thinking about what's really needed to accomplish this goal. And because I am very specific with it, I have to be very disciplined. And again, that goes back to what I was sharing earlier about routine and, forming those habits so that way you can be successful. So that's the pillar that I will be working on, and my community here in front of me will be holding me accountable. So thank you.
We sure will, Cass. Don't you worry.
We'll come
We'll
and cheer
make
you on the
sure
sidelines.
you're on track. Yeah, I think I shared with Cass when I did the half marathon. I mean, which is a whole other thing than a marathon, but where I also fell into, now I'm rushing to train because I was going to do it and I was really gung ho. And then guess what? I didn't feel like doing it anymore. I stopped training, and then I didn't want to be a quitter. And so then it was like 2 weeks out. And so don't worry, Cass. I was reflecting on the pillars. I think I have some work to do in a lot of them. But I've found that I'm lacking right now in my cognitive vitality. I'm not doing things that are challenging me, and giving my brain that almost jump start in challenge. I was reflecting on, I read some research on one of the new drugs for dementia. A lot of the new drugs, as you all know, are targeting beta amyloid in the early stages of cognitive decline. And just you guys like trying to read and make sense of that was so difficult and so hard. And I'm having to go back and read and try to comprehend what it is with these statistics and the numbers. And all of that is so good for the brain. If the brain is struggling, then it's working. I've also shared with a lot of you that, I had been playing piano, and my husband just passed through because he was eating dinner, and he would play the guitar and learn guitar, and I would sit at the piano. And it was so beautiful because, learning, not only does that touch on the meaningful connection, but it touches on the cognitive vitality where you're trying to, learn an instrument, which is so difficult, but it's so good. It's so good for the brain. And then it also feeds into those positive receptors in the brain where you've made that accomplishment and now you feel good. And so maybe then tomorrow you do want to go out and do it again, or you want to start the walking program or whatever it is, because the brain is just the center of everything that we do. And so my mission, along with the PrimeSpan mission, is my own cognitive vitality.
I love that. Just, it's so inspiring that you're doing that with your husband, especially learning new instrument. That's something.
It was nice. And then we like everything else, you started, it's really good for you. So I'm not going to do it anymore.
So. By the way, because I convinced Kassandra one time to run a marathon, and then I bailed out.
It was Adam. It was really Adam who pushed me into that, because I've been wanting to do that for years, like over a decade, because I already had done a handful of halves. And every year I was like, I'm going to do it. So Adam last year was like, hey, let's do the marathon together. We'll get a group of people.
I convinced a good amount of people.
There was 8 of us who were all gung-ho for it. And then halfway November, December, I'm like, I want, who's running with me? No one. Okay, well, I've already invested this time. I might as well not waste it.
Correct. I got injured, by the way. That's what it was.
Yes, that's what it was too. Yes, if you recall that planned injury. Just kidding.
Well said, Kaz.
Something that you're bringing up, Kaz, and Jess, is like having a goal for something. If I say, okay, I'm just going to go to the gym, I'm going to schedule it, it's not as impactful as working towards a goal and having the end goal. Because leaving it too open-ended leaves room for, I'll do it tomorrow. But reaching for a goal is very important to achieving your goals, and having others do it with you, although you didn't have anyone to do your run with. But I'm sure it would feel better to do it with others.
Yeah, I want to stress, because thank you for bringing that up. I want to stress too the importance of community for that journey of mine. If I didn't have the support around me, whether it was family, friends, you guys, it would have been very, very difficult to do something like that on my own, because I know that I struggle with being disciplined in certain areas of my life. So having that accountability, having those people to say, oh my gosh, I have to do this week, or this is how many hours I have to run on Saturday, or to have people to even go along with me and dedicate some of their own time, or talk through just kind of those mental barriers that we have was such a pivotal part of me being able to accomplish that. Even on the run, texting a couple of people and saying, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I still have 6 miles to go. I really just want to trip and fall right now and call it a day. But and I think that's what's so beautiful about what we've created here is that community for people to feel safe and to feel that they can connect with others who are also on their own path to wellness.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of that, I want to say something. We've been doing this community challenge. Yes, I still got it at 55. That we are we have it's something that's important for all of our members to know, that it's a path for us to engage people. It's our path for us to engage people to wellness and engage people to vitality, and it's just like a marathon, and we have like a lot of people that are posting their videos on it's really simple as the 5 squats, 5 push-ups, 5 sit-ups, 5 burpees, 5 just kidding, no burpees. I'm kidding.
Funny, Adam. So funny.
No, but really it's 555. PS, I still got it at 55 challenge. For those of you who are listening, it's really for us. It's a challenge for the community to engage and show the world that your vitality is there, that you can still do things. But Allyson had this idea last time about why limit people on the physical aspect of PS. I still got it at 55. And Allyson, I'd like you to tell us, because you have a good idea. This might be a good idea for some listeners who cannot just do the 555, because we need to inspire some other people that they still got it.
Yeah, you still got it at any age. You're never too young, never too old. But maybe squats or push-ups isn't really your thing, and maybe you can show us that you still got it with dancing or singing or playing the piano. Maybe it's pickleball. That's so popular right now. I'm so inspired by people playing pickleball that I want to try it. But yeah, just trying anything to challenge yourself and challenge your friends to get on the movement with us.
Has a very important aspect, and that's building that community. Jess, can you share, and I think we're almost just closing in time here, can you share with everybody, just in case they might pick up this podcast and they're not a PrimeSpan member, or they might pass this along to someone else, how can they join PrimeSpan? How can they find more about us, and how can they be involved in our community?
Absolutely. We're so grateful for the energy that's already been brought to the community, and those of you who have found PrimeSpan and are working through your courses and engaging with us in the community. But if you're just hearing about it from this podcast, I'm so glad. There's a couple different options. First, you could go to our website to learn more. If your interest is piqued from hearing us, you can always go to primespan.life. We are a .life. We're not a .com. Again, and this was our CEO Adam's idea to have us be a .life, because it ties back to the mission of life and longevity. So please visit to learn more about us. If you're somebody who is really oftentimes finding yourself on your cell phone, fabulous, because we have an app. We have an app that you can download on the Apple Store or the Google Store, and you could get started with PrimeSpan in that way. Um, However, you can also get started on the web. If you're somebody who loves their computer like I do, you can sign up at community.primespan.life, although I believe you can also sign up through the primespan.life. But any of those options, or if you want to learn a little bit more, we would love to hear from you. You know, we all have email addresses within the PrimeSpan community, but the main one to get more information would be support at primespan.life. And that would be your main option for email with any questions or thoughts. Did I miss anything, Adam?
No.
Any other way that people could get involved?
We have our
Those are,
social media.
oh yes,
Social
please,
media,
please
yes.
don't forget the social plug. Thank you, Allie. We have PrimeSpan on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and so please make sure you're following us. Would love to hear from you in that way. That's been a great way for us to engage as well, and just would love to have you all join the movement. Like so many have, and so many who are already feeling the positive benefits by the near the end of week 1 / going into week 2 / I think pretty quickly in day 1 or 2, but that's just me. But we believe in what we're doing, and we really believe in the mission of helping seniors. So we're here for you. That's how I sign all of my emails. I always make sure to add, I'm here for you. We're here for you.
I love that. Well, I'd like to make sure that we ask everybody here before we come to an end, just to share any last thoughts in this conversation, because the focus is for our listeners to get to know who we are. I'm hoping that for those listening, you get a little bit of knowledge or a taste of our conversation of who we are, and in our next episode you'll get to hear us more, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and our reasonings and why we're doing things, and but also bringing in the knowledge. But I'd like to ask the rest of the team, any last advice, any last thoughts here in this conversation to our listeners?
My advice or my last thoughts, which I actually heard on another podcast maybe about a year or so ago, is really just get up and do it. It's really taking that first step is the hardest, but don't procrastinate. Someone had shared count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and get up. Like if you're having a hard time getting up out of bed, 1, 2, 3, and I'm getting up and moving. And to Allie's point, she shared earlier that there's a hesitation when going to the gym. And she goes and she feels so much better after. And I think that happens to a lot of us. So just get up and take that first step. It's the hardest thing that you're going to do is taking that first step.
Beautifully said.
For me, my last thoughts is that we are truly here because we want to help others. We want to be of service to others and help them be on a journey to live better, live longer, and have fun doing it. So we're here to support anyone who's on this journey with us.
It's interesting. Some of our PrimeSpan listeners don't know me as well yet, but I'm generally not someone, as Adam, Allie, Shannon, and Cass know, who's lost for words. But I'm a little bit overcome at the moment with emotion, and I can't quite figure out why. But I do sense that, like we said, we just want to help, and yeah, really love what Cass said. 1, 2, 3, let's go. And make it fun. I recently went back to the East Coast and I got to play some tennis. I love being on the tennis court. So I don't have as many tennis partners out here on the West Coast, but I love it. And so if the nutrition piece, the cognitive piece, the sleep piece, the connection piece can be something that you love, then all the better for it.
Thanks for sharing that, Jess.
You all are so beautifully well spoken. I can't even top that off. I just think, like everybody said, let's come together, let's be together, let's grow together. And that's what it's all about here at PrimeSpan.
Thank you, Shannon. Well, to our listeners, we thank you for listening to this very first episode of the PrimeSpan podcast. To my team here, thank you for being part of this very first podcast, this very first step that we're doing. This is a very monumental podcast for us. I'm sure we'll look back and we'll listen to ourselves and hoping that, too many more podcast episodes. And to our listeners, our goal is to produce more episodes that will be helpful for you, to provide you guidance and directions and really actionable steps, but also fun, as Jessica mentioned, because you need to have fun as you're doing this, because there's no point if it's all about just information. It needs to be something fun that you'll benefit from. Because when you think about it, it's about the quality that you're adding to the life of your, it's about the quality that you're adding to the years of your life. It's not just the number of years that you're adding to your life. So until next time, to all of our listeners, that's the end of our podcast. Have a good day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for spending time with us. If today's conversation gave you clarity or steadiness, take that with you. We release new episodes weekly. Follow the PrimeSpan Podcast on Apple Podcasts so you don't miss what's next. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep living well.